maybe live at 5 here today. Let's find out if all this amazing technology is working. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, lovers.
Good morning.
Hey, I think we're on, Courtney. Good morning, Bikini Business Breakthrough lovers. I'm chatting here today with Courtney Hemphill, and we're talking to you if you are one of these women who's trapped in what we call golden handcuffs. You're working in a job that maybe is not your purpose or your passion. You're working 12 hours a day, maybe to pay the bills. Maybe you're the sole breadwinner in your family, or your family's dependent on your income. You like this idea of having your own business, but you don't know how to really break through to create your own wealth on your own terms without your family suffering or struggling. We want to have this conversation with you because you really can have it all. And I certainly know what it's like, and Courtney as well. We want to have this conversation with you, about how things are really shifting and changing in the marketplace as women. And maybe, Courtney, you want to start off by sharing your story of how you changed your life from, working in a corporate career where you worked harder and longer hours and were paid less than men, and what that means we really just want to have this conversation with you because it's a really big topic.
Yeah, thank you for, giving me the opportunity to share this story. Like most women, I have a husband, children, I have other commitments. Women don't just, go to work. We have lots of things, lots of hats that we wear. And so, like most women, I am also somebody that, my family and my priorities come first. So, whenever I've done work, whenever I've been a career person in the past, I always made those decisions based on the health of my family and, the success of our family, mainly financially. How can I provide the best I can for them? And so, what I've learned over the last 23 years as a career woman, and most of that time being in the sales industry, and most of that time being in a male dominated sales industry, is that I was not owning my value. And what I want to share about that is that, as women, we traditionally, culturally, are brought up to always do our best, to always put 100% into everything we do, but not to ask for more, And I hope this is really touching a chord with you guys, because I really do believe culturally that we've been brought up not to expect more, not to ask for more. It's not polite, to do your best and somebody will notice you're doing something and reward you accordingly. Hope and wish upon a star that they're going to see how hard you're working and how much you're providing, how much value you're adding to that situation, and then you'll be rewarded. And what I found over the last 23 years is that's not how it works. So over the last 23 years in corporate Canada, I'll call it, which is the same as corporate America, globally it's the same, is that if you show up and work really hard and do your best, it doesn't mean that you're going to get the promotion. It doesn't mean that they're going to value you. It doesn't mean they're going to notice you. And especially if you're a woman, today, 2019, women traditionally are making 80% of what a man in the same role is making. And so that's a fact. That's just the reality. And then on top of that, I know personally I've experienced this, and I know that research proves it, that women don't know how to ask for raises. Women don't know how to own their value and say what they want. And I think a big part of that is fear of losing what they have. So they're so scared that if they're greedy or they ask for more, then they might actually lose what they do have. And so for the past 23 years myself, I've been that woman, and I've been overperforming, outperforming, and being paid less. So for me, Vanessa, after doing that for a long, long time, I actually got tired of being sick and tired, and I started exploring different ways to bring my expertise to the marketplace. And, call me a coward. Instead of, learning how to own my value in the corporate world, I actually decided to walk away from it and not fight that battle anymore, because even if I own my value, I'll still traditionally make 80% of what a man in that same role will make. Okay. So even if I learn negotiating skills and I stand up for myself and I say, this is what I need to be paid, this is what I need to do, I need this promotion because I'm doing the work and I deserve to be paid, I won't be paid equally. That's the truth. So I actually
And
decided to give up on that. Yeah.
one more thing, because I noticed this when you're a higher performing, high achieving, uh, person working for a company, they usually want more from you. That was my
Yep.
experience. If I was great at sales, they wanted me to be doing it every single day. So it's like the better you got, the more they extracted from you. So it was like you can't really win, right? This belief that
Absolutely.
like I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. That was my experience in I didn't have really a corporate America job, but I had a sales position and I was a top salesperson in the company. And every time I outdid myself, they wanted more from me. They wanted more from me. So it was like I really couldn't win. And we're having this conversation because I think there's a lot of truth to what Courtney's saying. Women don't know how to ask for what they need. Men have no problem doing this. Men have no problem bragging. They do it amongst themselves with their friends all the time. And they have no problem really asking for what they need. But somewhere along the way, I think women, there seems to be this unspoken rule that if you're a really good woman, you would listen to another woman and you'd offer advice. You'd offer sympathy and support without her having to ask. It's almost like this unspoken rule. And what I think burns a lot of women in business and entrepreneurship is that we expect other people and men to behave like women, and they don't. So we're having this conversation because we want you to win as women. If you're a high performing, outperforming woman, we talked about this yesterday, a woman in a golden handcuffs. It's like you're working so hard for your family, you're trapped in this job, in this position because you're making so much money, but it's not giving you the kind of lifestyle, the kind of freedom that you want. We want to help you break away from that and create your own independence, your own time value proposition, your own coaching program. I think coaching is one of the most incredible opportunities. Women can do it from home. You can be a mom, you can be married, you can travel, you can set your own rates, you can set your own hours, you can charge what you're worth, you can be seen and heard in the marketplace, but you have to be willing to ask for what you need and what you want. And now we're in the conversation of sales. And I think this is where a lot of women are like, I don't know if I can do it. What do I have to be able to charge that much? Can I really charge that much? Will it really work for me? Will it take a long time for me to make that transition? That was certainly my experience. I was working so many hours and I was a road warrior, traveling on the road, living in hotels for 10 days at a time. I couldn't have a pet, couldn't have a freaking plant, couldn't join a Zumba class, didn't really have a community, but I was making a lot of money. So it was like this, when I really look back on it, it was like, I could have this, but not and this. And when I started my coaching business, I said, screw all that. I am going to work hard because I'm a hard worker, but I'm going to work hard for myself. And I'm going to have the money and the lifestyle and the freedom. So we want to bring this conversation to you because it's an important one. And I want my challenge for you today is to think, what do you have that contradiction that lives in your mind that you can only have the money if you go to a job that you hate, for example? Or if I leave my job, like Courtney says, I might risk failing and not getting what I want and putting my family at risk. Do you have this contradiction in your beliefs? And if so, we want to help you with that. We've done a lot of mindset work with our clients here over the last 10 years. And certainly with Courtney, who works with our clients in the Bikini business coach program and our 10K and 30-day program. And we work a lot on beliefs, right? Before you can open that door and have the money show up, you have to believe that you can have it, and you can have the lifestyle and the freedom. You can have the money and the freedom to spend it with your family, right? You have to make the belief that you can have it first so that you can show up and take action on that plan. So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking, Courtney, about your experience in 23 years, and you said, you know what, I actually decided not to go down the traditional, oh, I'm going to learn negotiation skills and I'm going to show up and fight in corporate America. I'm going to just take myself out of corporate and put myself, and my services and my value in a completely different, train, and offer it to other people. How did that work out for you?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought that up. When I mentioned that I wasn't willing to negotiate in that corporate situation, or like you in your sales situation, what I really was doing was learning how to own my own value and realize that nobody else was ever going to meet my idea of my value. Do you know what I mean? Like I realized that I really had to start defining that on my own. And thankfully, because of online marketing, I was introduced to you and introduced to what you and your team do here at Take Your Power Back Now. And what happened was I actually embarked on an 8-week journey with you guys in the 10K and 30-day program. And I joined that program for the mindset. That was why I joined, was I wanted to get that mindset of learning how to value myself and believe in myself, because like you said, without that it's hard to bridge that gap and take the steps to actually doing the necessary practical tangible things that bring you into a business like coaching. So yeah, that's what I did. I followed the 10K blueprint, and it really allowed me to go on a journey of self-development. And because I was able to really learn how to own my own value and change the way that I saw things and believed in things and thought about things, then I was able to start taking my expertise and bringing it to the market and monetizing it. So that was kind of the journey I took. And all the business part aside, the thing that I love most is that I did it for business. I did it for financial reasons. The side effect is that it changed my dynamics with my children. It changed my dynamics with my mom. It changed my dynamics with my husband. And now I'm in that situation where I actually know how to express what I need and want. And I'm not living a life of resentment and not living a life of what if. I'm actually living my life. So it's been a huge gift, a huge gift.
How cool is that? We see this a lot with our clients. When you start working on your beliefs around money, it always touches relationships, right? You're worth what you're worthy of, what you're deserving of, really touches love and money. We have a lot of clients that do our program and end up, remaking their relationship, getting divorced, getting married. We've had a lot of clients say, hey, this worked so well. I attracted clients, I made money, and I got into a new relationship, and I got married, and I moved in with my partner, and I attracted a partner. So the conversation I had this morning with our year-long clients was very similar to this, in that, and this is my favorite part of my week, connecting with our clients and working with them. And today we really worked on beliefs and, looking at your life and what you're experiencing as a product of your recurring thoughts and beliefs, and to look at it and say, good, oh, I'm afraid of charging more. Good. Now let's work on a new concept of yourself as somebody who is totally worthy and deserving of that new rate. Or you have to hire somebody because you're so busy because you have too many clients and you don't have enough time. Good. Let's create that belief and that concept of yourself that you're really good at hiring people. You're really good at hiring amazing people to grow your team. So we're constantly as an entrepreneur, your life by definition becomes evolution and constant growth and change. And I don't think there's any more thrilling ride. You know, somebody once told me that entrepreneurship is like a full-on contact sport of personal development. If you really want to become a master at personal development, become an entrepreneur. It's going to stretch and grow you in so many fulfilling ways. You know, who you become on that journey is, I think, even more gratifying than the wealth that you create. You know, you impact your family's life, like Courtney's sharing who she becomes. She's able to ask for what she wants. It's changed your relationship with her mom, your kids, your husband. The really interesting part of this is that the mechanism to create change is always the same. It's a recipe. It's like baking a cake. You can bake a vanilla cake, a strawberry cake, a chocolate cake, a cherry cake. You can bake a pie. You know, you can bake 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, $300,000 a month or a year. You know, it's a recipe, but the way to make it is always the same. The way that we create new concepts of ourselves and new beliefs of ourselves is what allows it to show up differently and act differently. And what I've seen, you know, make the biggest difference in women's lives in the last 10 years is not the funnels and the Facebook ads and the sale. And listen, that stuff's really important, but that stuff doesn't get done until you have the belief and the concept about yourself, that you deserve it, that you're worth it, that you can have it, that it's possible for you. Once that foundation is created, then we'll get you to follow our recipe and you will have results. But if that foundation is not there, you could have the best recipe and you just sit there and look at it. So we want you women out there who are maybe stuck in golden handcuffs like we were, you know, badass hustlers, ballers, mover and shakers. We were, you know, both Courtney and I were in sales professions. We generated, you know, the top results for our companies and still felt really trapped. You know, there was no further up we could really go. If I wanted to become a manager in that company, I would have been working more and earning less. And so that didn't work for me. There was no position for me to take over the company. And that's why I started my business as a sales and a law of attraction and mindset mentor 10 years ago. And it was really scary. You know, growing a business is really scary. One of the beliefs that prevented me from doing it sooner was that it would take me too long to get to the same level of wealth in my business as I had in my job. And I didn't want to suffer. Contradiction. That's my challenge for you guys today is, what is the contradiction belief that tells you you can't have it all, or you can't have it now, or you can't have it both? Or what is that belief that it's kind of like a door that's shut, right? You're like in a room, you want to get out, but all the doors are shut. Somewhere there has to be a door that's open. Somewhere there has to be a new belief that gets created that allows you to exit. And then take proper action. So that's my challenge for you guys. I also want to know if you have any questions for us, and please pop them here in the chat. I'd love to connect with you. I want to share with you a story. And this was a woman who, we're talking about kids and family, and it reminded me of this woman, a Canadian woman, Jeannick, super awesome healer. She was an artist. She had watched one of my videos and wrote down on her paper, bikini business coach. And then a year later came back and found one of my videos. And it was actually her daughter who said, "Mom, you have to hire this woman, Vanessa." And her daughter, was a teenager and started to paying her rent. And, she said, "Take my rent money and go and hire Vanessa to work with you." And Jeannick was, doing amazing art, Reiki, healing work, and kind of charging people, $100 an hour for her services, had a studio in her house, really happy with that. But she had this dream to lead retreats. And so, I signed her on as a client and said, "Hey, let's create a $2,500, retreat in Bali." Because I really believe that, all of what you really want, like right behind that door to what you really want, is also all the energy and momentum to carry you through that, or you wouldn't have the desire for it. Problem is, we don't open the door. We don't know how to open the door. Nobody taught us in school how to create our own beliefs. I mean, that's real fucking power, right? They taught us how to believe that we need jobs and we need security in the 401k, and we need a man to pay for us, and marry somebody rich is what my mom always used to say, and make sure you have benefits. And it's a good thing that I built my own exit strategy, because the company I work for no longer exists. They went bankrupt. Good fucking thing I didn't lean in on that. Or try and compete in a man's world where men are paid a lot more than women. I really believe that coaching is an incredible vehicle. Coaching and mentoring, having your own business, is an amazing, amazing vehicle for wealth creation and to create more freedom in your family. So Janik and I got on the phone. We created a $2,500 retreat package. I showed her how to make some offers on social media using video, kind of like what we're doing here today. And within her first month, she made $16,000. I mean, totally blew her fucking mind. The next month, she did another $6,000 by the second of the month. Can you imagine what your life would look like if in the next 30 days, you opened the door and took action on a really good idea, maybe something you've been chewing on for a long time, and were able to generate that kind of income? I mean, what would you do? What would that mean for your family? What would that really be like? We see this every single day, you guys. This is our world, right, Courtney? I mean, we have a channel here on our phone on Voxer. We have a celebrations channel where we celebrate our clients' wins, and it's every time we turn around, we see women celebrating, and it's an incredible feeling, and we want you to have that feeling as well. We want that for you. So if you would like our help, apply and apply to work with me and my team, and we will help you maybe open that door and create a new belief. Maybe it's learning how to own your value. Maybe it's learning how to market yourself. Maybe it's learning how to get really great at sales. Maybe it's revamping all of your concepts about being rich, really rich and free and working for yourself, or managing money. Or even like today, we worked on beliefs about rich people. If you think rich people are greedy, or if you think it's bad to have a lot of money, or it's not safe to have a lot of money, you're not going to make a lot of money, period. Forget about in a job, but especially in a business. So we want to make sure that you have the right foundation to create wealth and freedom and safety and security in your own emotional, mental, financial stability. Then we want to teach you some of our proven processes and strategies for building an online business. And we do that in 2 programs. We have a 10K and 30-day bootcamp. It's actually an 8-week program. And we also have a year-long mastermind. A lot of our graduates want to keep going. They don't want to stop. They want to keep the momentum going. So this is how to apply. I'm going to pop the website in here. takeyourpowerbacknow.com/10K ready is the link. And looks like Kelly's joining us here today. Aloha, Kelly. Let us know if you have any questions for us, and let me know if you're going to take me up on this challenge. What are some of the contradictory beliefs or thoughts that you notice, the stories that you have playing in your mind? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Vanessa, one of the things that was kind of my issue, being, in a 6-figure position and going, okay, I need to replace 6 figures as Courtney, as myself, for myself, and really getting my head wrapped around that. Part of my little, whatever you want to call it, maybe a gremlin, was it really bothered me that I was living somebody else's dream, investing my time, effort, sweat into their prosperity and their dreams. But when I really stopped and thought about it, I actually realized that they were the ones taking all the risk. So something, that we have to talk about as an entrepreneur, that I'd love for you to expand on a bit with us, is that when I really realized that you have to be willing to risk, you have to be willing to stretch, or you won't grow. You're going to remain the same. And that's how you earn the right to build your dreams and to have other people build it with you and for you. Do you know what I mean? So that
Mhm.
entrepreneur, what I ended up realizing when I, was looking at, we'll call it my boss, when I really stepped back, I realized that that person was the one that was willing to risk. They were willing to invest in themselves. And it really made me understand that the difference between me and my boss is that my boss was willing to invest in themselves and get where they wanted to go. They were willing to risk where they were at. They were willing to grow. And when you do that, you get to have everything that you want. And you are the queen of this mindset piece. And I would love for you to kind of share that with us, if you don't mind, about what that means, what that really is all about, risking what you have, risking that comfort zone, taking that leap of faith, and what that brings you if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to invest in yourself and stretch. What does that really mean?
It's a great point, and it really means setting a new standard for yourself. You know, in my family, I saw a lot of, my mom, my aunts become very resentful. And, I think women classically give and give and give. That was the pattern that I saw in my family: over giving, overdoing, and then resentful because they didn't have what they wanted. They didn't have, whether it was the finances, they didn't get to travel. And I made a decision that that was not going to be my life. And I was never going to be the parent that told their kids, we can't afford it. And the process of, moving, getting more, changing, growth, transformation is really the process of taking risks, but it starts by setting a new standard. And whether that standard is to have better health, to look better in your jeans, to make more money per month, to stop stressing out as much, to have less on your plate, to look better, to feel better, to grow, whatever that standard is. Real change starts by making a standard. I'm not going to do that anymore. I have a something on my computer. It's called my no longer willing to do list. And I put stuff on there, and I can talk to you about this because I have been bankrupt. And in January of this year, my company did over $380,000 in revenue. And that's not all of me. This is a team effort. We have this is not just me anymore. We have a team of over 30 people: online marketers, copywriters, videographers, strategic sales trainers, sales mentors, breakthrough coaches, tech team, design team, somebody working on our live events, a COO, a performance growth strategist. Like it's scary. Even at my level, it's still scary to invest and to lean in and to get to that next level. Hiring a COO was like a $35,000 lean in and invest, and working with a recruitment agency, and that's like a fucking car. In Texas, I could buy a house for 35 grand. There's a lot of, so new level, new devil. But Courtney's right. If you want to get something new, you've got to behave in a new way. And one of the beliefs that I adopted that made sense a long time ago was that if there was something that I wanted and I wasn't there yet, it just meant I didn't know something. So what was the fastest way I was going to get that information? What was it? What was the fastest way for me to get from here to there? Because all that was missing was just something I didn't know. And I started, investing in mentors. And I remember driving a shitty car, taping it up, spray painting it, rusty car, investing $8,000 into a mentor, thinking my family or my friends, if I told them what I was doing, they think I'm insane. They think I'm crazy. But I was more uncomfortable with living the same old thing than I was of maybe failing. You know, at some point, you're going to have to bet on yourself. At some point, you're going to have to, yeah, take a risk. But here's the other part of that equation. What you learn, nobody can ever take away from you. What you learn, nobody can ever take away from you. You just build on it. You just build on it. And you just build on it. And you just build on it. Nobody can ever take that away from you. So I know that it might be tough for a lot of women to, you know, invest in themselves, or think that's my children's college money, or that's my whatever money, this is the safety net. But, you know, I really believe that women are the ones changing the world. We are the leaders in our family. We are a lot of times the leaders in our relationships. You know, men want us to be happy. We're the leaders. We set the standards. We set the standards, you know, at work, in our personal relationships, in our relationships with our children. We're showing them what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. You know, are you teaching your kids that they can have it all, or are you teaching your kids limitation? Because they're watching you, man. We have 3 kids here at the house, and they're really smart fucking kids. You know, they can sense and see and hear and feel, and they are taking stock. You know, they're assessing, you know, what's possible for them by what you're doing. Are you showing up as a great role model for your children or not? Are you, you know, just kind of coasting by? And, you know, every growth, every new level has required an uncomfortable, you know, oh my God, this is scary. Oh my God, I could fail. Risk, lean in, invest, learn. And it's always been worth it. It's always been worth it. And it's always been scary. It doesn't stop being scary. That's the fucked up part. It doesn't stop being scary. However, now I have, you know, a really good like roadmap to look back on and say, I can borrow the belief that every time I leaned in and risked to level up and set a new standard, yeah, it was a bit rocky. It was a bit of a transition, but got what I wanted. I'm actually pretty good at this setting a new standard thing. And then you have to take action on it, right? You can pray and pray and pray for a way out, but when God shows you the door, and when a door shows up, you got to freaking turn the handle and walk through the door. You can't just sit there crying, I'm so afraid, I can't open the door. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that leads me to the other part of the equation. So the other part of the equation, if you remain the same, nothing changes, right? If you remain the same and you don't change, you know, your standard, nothing changes. And in life, the way that the world works is if you don't change, you go backwards, right? So, I mean, it's one thing to stay where you are, but if you don't progress and grow, you'll actually be worse off, right? That's a guarantee. That's a fact. So, taking that opportunity, taking that chance, betting on yourself and growing, the worst case scenario, like you said, is you're going to find out a way to either do it or it didn't work, and now you're one step closer to finding out what will work. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so cool that if you actually sit down with the real hard cold facts, if you do not make a change, nothing changes. You will be the same or worse off this time next year. But if you take that opportunity and you're willing to grow, like you said, you're willing to learn, you're willing to show up, you will be ahead. You will have learned something and you will be one step closer to where you want to go. I think that that's pretty profound.
Yeah, it's simple and it is profound, right? It's almost like I don't know where this came from, but it's almost as if there's like an unspoken rule that when you become an adult, you have to do everything perfectly. And you have to get it right away on the first chance or the first time. Otherwise, you'll die. And that's just an ego programming. The ego loves to, you know, prevent you from death, which is also equated with failure. And it's simply not true. I mean, how many times the kids just got these bicycles, right? And so the 3 kids are learning how to use a bicycle with gears on it, you know, and they've never had a bike with gears. So they're like click, 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 and trying to go up this, you know, and they jump off their bike and they walk up the hill, and they're learning how to use the gears on their bike. And they don't sit there and, you know, beat themselves up and throw the bike in the freaking, side of the garden and say, I'm never doing it. No, they're like, oh, this is hard. Oh, wow. Well, let's show you how to do the gears, that they're learning. And adults, we're just grown children. So you're all learning, and I think that's how you avoid becoming resentful, is to keep learning new things. Keep expanding. That's the law of the universe, is growth and expansion. So you're either on that love train, or you're sitting around, I think, becoming resentful. I mean, the whole point of life is expansion. So you may as well get on that train and see where it goes. You might surprise yourself, right? But nothing will change if you don't try something new. And that quote, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So we love you, rock star women. We want the world for you, and we have so many amazing celebrations here on the inside. We want to share them with you, share these important conversations, bring some new ideas to light. And if you would like to work with me and my team, apply here below. There is the link. If you know that you've been chewing on these ideas, you're just standing right outside the door, and for whatever reason, you can't figure out why you can't open the door, let us help you figure that out. It can be, as simple as changing a few beliefs, and then having the right kind of support and accountability as you learn these new habits of showing up, and learn these new habits of copywriting, learn these new habits of planning, learn these new habits of, being visible, delivering value, making offers every day in your business. All those are habits that can be learned. And we found that the women who invest in our programs, who show up, who are committed and get that accountability, the habits come in and sink in faster, and they get results faster. So that's what we have to share with you girls today. We love you so much. Thank you, Courtney, for tuning in.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
And tune in soon here. We're going to have some more live conversations with you all around the topics of women's empowerment, what really matters. Let us know if you have any questions, pop them here below. And whether you're catching the replay or you're here for a live, and we'll see you guys real soon. Hi, lovers.